Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host, Mika Gat, joined alongside my weekly panelists of Ayush and Mr. Kawapuchi. And today we got a pretty big NFL show because free agency and the start of the new NFL season is coming up this Wednesday. So a couple big moves have been happening already so far, so we want to talk a little bit about them. Let's start off with the $14 million man who last year came to New England. Mr. Cam Newton came to New England last year, pretty much getting less money than an average backup quarterback in the NFL. But at the moment right now, he's getting paid $14 million for a year contract in a year where he had 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So my question is, do you think the Patriots made the right decision, especially considering the fact that Cam Newton does not want to be a backup? Let's start with Ayush.
They overpaid him by a lot. I mean, maybe he's worth $5 million the way he played last year, but $14 million is way too much. I think they were going to bring him back just by the way everyone talked about him in the organization, because everyone just talked about how good of a worker and leader he is. I mean, Bill called him the hardest worker he's ever seen, and Bill values that a lot. So I think Bill had it in his mind that he was going to be brought back. If he can just improve if he can decrease the turnovers by a lot, start throwing more accurately, then maybe it would be worth it. But I mean, there's no evidence to see if that would happen.
Do you think that he actually will be a better quarterback this year?
There's no evidence to say he will. I mean, he worked based on how hard he worked last year, and he still performed like that. I mean, I don't even know if hard work is going to get him to a better position than he was last year.
All right, Kyle, what do you think?
Well, I think the story more is about Belichick and his way of, approaching the offseason, and that more really than it is Cam Newton, because basically the real story is how Bill Belichick does not value the quarterback position. He doesn't value the position at quarterback. Cam Newton is terrible. He sucks. He's washed up. And if you think otherwise, you shouldn't be talking about sports. You should keep your mouth shut, and you're not to be taken seriously. Bill wants to win by his standards. He wants to prove it's all him. He just thinks he could stick any quarterback in there and just win, and that's why we went 7-9 last year. He didn't even go to the Trey Lance Pro Day, and Trey Lance probably is not going in the top 15 picks. I mean, first of all, I guarantee you Bill's not even using that 15th pick on a quarterback now.
There's no guarantee when he uses the 15th pick. He's probably
going to trade out of it.
It's just proof that this guy thinks he can win however he wants with any terrible quarterback. Cam Newton is worse than a lot of the backups out there. It is a quarterback-driven league. It's not defense first. It's not running game first. It's a quarterback's league. You need to actually have one if you're going to win games. Look what Tom Brady just did in Tampa Bay. All of this is just such an indictment on the team. Like, we all just have to suck it, and we have to embrace Bill's dumb way of trying to win, and we're going to suck again next year. And this is just more examples of why we went 7-9 last year, and it's going to happen again.
So you think they go 7-9 again, or they do a little bit better or
7-9
worse?
again.
No, we're going to do better.
He's not. He's that bad. He can't hit the side of a barn.
Harris is going to be healthy. Our O-line's better this year. I mean,
I don't care. He's still going to suck, and he's still going to hurt them.
He will hurt us. I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying we're going to have a better run game. Our defense will be better. I can see us getting 9 wins next year.
It's just so many people are missing the real point, and it's just that Belichick does not know what he's doing, and he has such a terrible approach to actually luring people over. If you're any free agent, if you're any significant free agent who's looking for a new team, why the hell are you looking at New England and saying, I want to go there? Nobody wants to come here. If I'm Allen Robinson or any other good receiver, am I really going to look at
Here's franchise tagged?
Well, if any
Kenny Galladay is a better example.
Seriously, if I'm any one of those guys, am I saying, yeah, I want to go play for New England and get passes from Cam freaking Newton? Yeah, totally.
My question is, Kyle,
we have the money to offer, a pretty good contract, but knowing Bill, he'll probably give them less what they're asking for. So
Watch it.
I
Like,
want to.
the more this guy makes moves at the quarterback position, the more I want to slam my head through a wall because he does not value the quarterback position.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. There's a bunch of other veteran quarterbacks that are on the free agency market this year, such as Ryan Fitzpatrick, Alex Smith, Jameis Winston. Do you think any of them even have a shot to go to the Patriots?
I think Bill's going to bring in another quarterback. I think he knows that Cam Newton isn't going to win them a Super Bowl. I don't know why he gave him $14 million, but I'm pretty sure he'll bring in another quarterback.
Are you sure that Bill thinks that can't possibly win them a Super Bowl? Like, are we sure Bill really thinks that at this point?
Cam, I mean, I don't know if Bill saw something last year or like what is going through his head. Like, I mean, other than this Cam Newton, he's been doing a decent job this offseason. I mean, we stole Trent Brown from the Raiders, honestly, a fifth round.
Yeah, but you also lost Joe Thuney and Marcus Cannon.
We don't need them. I mean, Trent Brown is going to be replaced Thuney.
Marcus Cannon will be replaced by who?
He's going to replace Ken. Unwenner, a rookie guard, is going to replace Thuney. And we still have 5 really good offensive linemen. And Damien Harris is healthy. He should be over 1,000 yards for sure next year.
I mean, you say that you think Belichick thinks, or he has to know that Newton won't win them a Super Bowl. I'm really not sure that he believes that. I seriously think that he thinks he can win however he wants to, and he can't. He refuses to accept the reality that it is a quarterback league. It is not for coaches. It comes to players first.
I agree with Kyle on the point that offensive free agents are probably not going to come here.
No one is coming here.
No one. Defensive free agent, and you see what Kyle Van Noy, Jamie Collins, and all these guys are getting just because they played in the New England system. There's plenty of incentive for average defensive players to become really good with New England.
I mean, seriously, like I looked at this contract and all these freaking incentives and all this stuff. It's like, oh, if he wins MVP, if he goes to the Pro Bowl, if they win the Super Bowl, it's like a bonus $2 million. What the hell is he going to do that in the Pop Warner League? Like, seriously, he's that.
I mean, we're not losing anything by those incentives. If anything, it might motivate him to work harder. But then, likely of him winning those, like we're not losing anything with incentives.
This goes all the way back to so long ago. How freaking badly they have mismanaged this entire thing. Like, seriously, like I'll go back and say it again. All it took was Brady, 2 years, $50 million. That's all it took. That's all it took. And no, Bill can't give that to him because he needs to be the whole reason for everything.
Do you think Brady would have won another Super Bowl if he stayed in New England?
I'm not saying they would have. You're in the playoffs at least.
Yeah, of course you're in the playoffs, but you think that he wins another Super Bowl?
I don't think anybody could win a Super Bowl with this bad of a roster. Like,
I honestly think we have the least talented roster in the whole entire league.
But
worse than the Jets. Worse than the Jets.
Gilmore only plays 5 games as your best player, or whatever he played. Like, your second best player might just be Shaq Mason or David Andrews.
All right, but you're going to so you're really telling me that the team with Sam Darnold or a team with James Robinson are better than a team with the defensive player.
Our best player was Jake Bailey, our punter, last year.
No, it was one of the old linemen, but Bailey was a top 3 player on the team last year.
Yeah. I mean, Stephon Gilmore just had a bad year with injuries.
He didn't have a bad year. He was just injured. Like, if you can't.
Okay, so I'm just saying that. Yeah. Plus, Donta Hightower should be coming back for the Patriots this year. That should be a huge addition.
Yeah, I mean, Chung will be back too, which should help.
He's old. He's not going to be the same.
He's still a leader and he knows the system.
Plus, you guys get Matt Patricia back.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy about Matt freaking Patricia.
Well, he was pretty good when he was in New England. He was doing some good stuff.
He was okay. I'm going to take
a year check before he comes back to the Patriots.
Patricia was just like took whatever Bill said and then just said it, like just repeated it.
Yeah, well, I find
it hilarious how so many people are missing the real part of it, and it's not that Newton is back. It's really how much Belichick does not care about having an actual freaking quarterback when it's a QB-driven league. Like, if he wants me to take so much less money and just not make mistakes, like, why can't we bring Alex Smith?
Alex Smith is not going to win us anything. I mean, you and I both. Everyone knows.
He's Ayush. Alex Smith is a pretty significant upgrade over Newton. I'm sorry, he is.
Even if it's an upgrade, you already know you're not going to have.
Look at his winning record. Everywhere he goes, he usually wins games. I mean, come on, dude. Like last year's record with the Washington football team was like 6-2 or something. Like,
he doesn't turn the ball over, but like
exactly
he doesn't do anything special. Like, he's not going to.
We have someone like that. If we're just going to bridge a year where we don't look for the next. Like,
We also
why
don't have the defense Washington has. Or
That's I was about to say Washington's relying off of their
all these
defense.
guys back, as Mika says, with Chung and Hightower and some other guys coming back? I mean, Malcolm Brown got released from the Saints. Maybe he comes back here. You never know about that. Like, and then all of a sudden you have a nose tackle again. Why can't you just get a quarterback who's not going to make the mistakes? Newton isn't even a careful quarterback. He throws so many picks. It doesn't matter if you know the freaking system. If you can't get a 5-yard screen pass to the running back, he throws the ball in the dirt.
He's careless. He just doesn't know how to throw the ball. Like, he'll make good decisions. He just throws it like 10 yards from where he's intended to.
Kyle, sometimes your claim about interceptions can sometimes be actually good. Like, for example, Jameis Winston 2 years ago, I mean, he had 30 interceptions, and he also led the league in passing yards.
Yeah, and maybe that's why it's like 6 and 10 that year.
Well, I'm just saying,
Cam Newton just 30 interceptions. Chances are you're going to be throwing 50 times a game because you're losing.
Yeah, exactly. And Newton seriously, I'll say it again. It doesn't freaking matter how good your receivers are if you can't make a freaking 10-yard pass or a screen pass. He can't. You see how much effort he needs to put into his body to get a ball like across 15. Dude, he's so washed up.
I don't get why he hasn't changed his throwing form. His shoulder injury messed up his arm. He doesn't step into his throws at all.
If you think differently that he's not washed up, like, you're not to be taken seriously. You shouldn't be following sports if you think this guy actually has something left. He has nothing.
The only reason I'm not panicking is because I'm giving Bill one more year.
Until you think he should be out.
If we were bad this year, he should be stripped of his GM role.
Well, if we don't make the playoffs again next year, I think he should lose his job. That's just me.
Completely, even as a coach.
Yes, he should. Because guess what? If he doesn't make the playoffs again this year, it's just even. I mean, first of all, we already have the proof. We on the right side of history believe it was Brady for the whole dynasty. And if he just doesn't make the playoffs again next year, then it is just 200% proof that it was all Brady.
It's just not true.
Well,
it is true.
It's just not true.
I kind of think with Ayush because I definitely agree that the most recent, the Super Bowl 53, 51, 49, definitely was Brady in the clutch playing well. I just don't know how you can make an argument that the first 3 Super Bowls.
Super Bowl 53?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that's Brady was playing much better than, like, it was Brady that was 53 Belichick just outsmarted McVay, but 51 and 49 was literally Tom Brady. That was the reason they won those 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, and also, like, yeah, I get the first 3 Super Bowls, but also
those were like probably that was just more a solid defense.
But also, if Bill's defense doesn't give up a game-winning drive to freaking Eli Manning in the first Super Bowl, and then if he doesn't give up 41 points to a backup quarterback, then a lot of people will bring up the first 3, but they won't bring up those 2, especially the 41 points went to Nick Foles.
Well, yeah.
I don't blame.
Best
quarterback game out of anybody ever in the playoffs, and Bill decided to give up 41 to a backup quarterback because his ego was so big that he had to bench Malcolm Butler and say, "Oh, I can win. I'll stick Eric Rowe in there." He got toasted.
I don't blame Bill for the Giants' losses. I mean, look, our offense put up like 17 and 14 points. I mean, that's not enough to win a game.
I blame them. They averaged giving up 10 points a game that year. You give 17 to Eli Manning. Come on. They averaged.
What about the year
Tyler, you realize that one of those things was a safety, right? Brady had a bad snap or whatever. There was he had an intentional grounding in the end zone. One of those was a safety.
Oh, you sure about the year they went 18-1?
They were up 4. It doesn't matter how much Brady put up. They were up by 4 with 2 minutes left. He should have been able to get the job done.
Yeah, I blame more Wes Welker and Asante Samuel.
Yeah, that's 2008 I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know, but if they're the best team in football, if they didn't lose a single game, they should be able to beat the 6-seeded Giants. That shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, more evidence of why Belichick should have been able to stop an average quarterback of Eli Manning from winning the Super Bowl.
If it was Brett Favre, I would be talking a little different.
Interception in his hands. He just dropped it. Asante Samuel should have ended the game. It should have been 18-0, but he dropped it.
And they still had 80 yards to go in that drive.
You know how momentum works.
I do know how momentum works. Actually,
when you have a chance to end the game, you just
Brady threw the touchdown to Moss. The drive before that, they went up. So thank you. If anything, the Pats defense should have had the momentum, and they should have won the game.
They didn't. Well, I mean, if we're talking about history and we're talking about the 2008 Super Bowl, let's just briefly talk about the 2009 Super Bowl when the Colts played the New Orleans Saints, who made their first ever Super Bowl over in 2009. And of course, they won the Super Bowl with MVP Drew Brees, who today announced his retirement from the NFL 15 years on the day that he announced that he'd be coming to the New Orleans Saints after a 20-year NFL career. So before we talk about Drew Brees as a player in the NFL, let's just talk about the Saints, because we're just talking about the quarterback controversies. They gave Taysom Hill a 4-year, $160 million deal, and they're planning on having Jameis Winston come back and be their starting quarterback for next year. What do you guys think? What is happening in New Orleans right now with crybaby Michael Thomas on the sides, Mr. Slant Boy, watching it all happen? Kyle, go ahead.
Well, I just talked about how dumb Belichick is when it comes to GM moves, but if you really want to talk about another dumb move, I mean, why the hell are you giving Taysom Hill 100? It was 140 million. Still, it's 140 million. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
Even
I
that
don't understand how Taysom Hill is getting paid more than like guys like Brady and Rodgers.
I just don't get how you possibly say, all right, so I'm going to think about making this offer. Now I'm really going to make this offer 140 million to Taysom Hill. It's so bad. But like, I mean, I think the Saints will take a significant hit from last year. Like, I just, whoever it is, Winston, Hill, I mean, they're definitely not going to be as good. They've always been a good regular season team. I think even that's going to go out the window. Like, I've seen enough of Winston. I just don't think he's that good. And say whatever you want about, say whatever you want about your freaking eyes being met. I mean, 30 picks is 30 picks. And I don't have any respect for quarterbacks. We throw 30 interceptions, even if you throw it, down the field about 1 trillion times. Like, in Taysom Hill, he's a fun player. He's a good story, but he's not going to be a quarterback who's going to take them over the top. He's just not. So they'll still make the playoffs, but now the Bucks have the division on complete lockdown next year.
Aish, what do you think?
I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I mean, I don't think either of those quarterbacks is good enough. I mean, they have Kamara and Thomas, but they have a lot of they're negative cap space, I believe. Like
they're at 30 million.
100 million or something.
Yeah, 30 somewhere around there.
And I don't know if they're going to be able to like overcome that. They're going to have to restructure a lot of contracts. I think they're going to have to lose a couple of players over the next couple of years. I think they'll have to rebuild. I agree with Poochie that the Bucks have locked down the division. I mean, I'd be very surprised if they don't win the division easily. I mean, the $140 million contract for Taysom Hill doesn't make sense. I don't get what they're thinking.
That's literally going to be like, I don't even know if Shaq Barrett is going to get $140 million on the Bucks. He's going to get paid, but like, I mean, I don't know what you're doing, especially if Winston is going to be your starting. Like, usually you would think you're giving $140 million to a starting quarterback, not a backup. I don't know. I just don't get it.
All right. Well, I mean, we're going to have to see what happens with that whole Saints quarterback situation, because that's just going to be one big mess. But one thing that I wanted to do right now, I didn't tell you guys ahead of time, I want to play a little game, a fun little game, because like I said earlier, the free agency is coming up. So in front of me, I have the list of the top free agents entering free agency, and I want you guys to tell me what team will they end up on. Pretty simple. I'll give you a name of a player, and you tell me what team. You can give me a one-word explanation why. If you don't want to, you don't have to, all right? I'll go Kyle and then Ayush for every single person. And we'll go for 10 minutes. We'll see how many we can get through. Boys ready?
Yeah.
Let's start with Mr. Trent Williams from the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle?
He stays at San Fran.
Ayush?
I agree.
All right. How about Shaq Barrett of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Stays with Bucks.
Yeah, everyone's taking pay cuts there just to keep him. He'll stay.
Also,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Kenny Golladay?
Okay. Steelers.
Steelers, okay.
Yeah, they're gonna lose Juju. Steelers.
I want him to come to New England, but I don't think that's happening. I think he goes to Chicago.
Really? Golladay with Allen Robinson.
I think they bring in another receiver and then do whatever they can to get Watson.
You mean Wilson?
You mean Wilson, yeah.
I don't think Wilson's going to get traded. I think Wilson.
He has a better chance than Watson right now.
I don't
much
get
better
what
chance.
the Houston's doing. He already said he's not going to play there. Now they're saying he has to play there.
Go talk to the GM of the Houston Texans. All right, next player. I by the way think Kenny Galladay is going to the Baltimore Ravens because they need a number one receiver, and that is
I
exactly
was
who
thinking about that too.
they need a number one receiver, and
Yeah.
it's not Marquise Brown. All right, how about Joe Thuney?
Jets.
So he just wants for the money. He's going for the money.
Yep, he's going for the money.
Yush, what do you think?
I think he's going to go to Baltimore. They're going to need a guard, and
Is Yonda did retire, yeah.
Yonda retired, so I think Tooney's a good guy to come in and fill that position.
Okay, maybe. What about Hunter Henry?
Pats.
Patriots. Okay,
Yeah,
I usually
Pats.
I think he's going to stay. I mean, Herbert's a good quarterback. They have Allen.
Oh,
I think they're going to be a good team next year.
where do you want him to go, Ayush?
Where I honestly don't want him here. He can't run block. I mean,
You're right. You would rather have Tom Izzo because
Yeah, you'd
Yeah, but
rather have Ryan Izzo or Devin.
No, it's Tom Izzo, yeah.
You're one of those
okay,
crap.
I'm being honest. Okay, I want the Patriots to go and draft Kyle Pitts from a tight end from Florida. I don't care. That's the tight end I want. I'm gonna be really. I have like the 15th pick. Trade up to get him. I don't care. Kyle Pitts just has to be our guy. He's gonna be insane.
maybe we're gonna see. All right, next guy on the list is Jonnu Smith. Kyle.
Jonnu's. Washington football team.
You think they move on from Jordan Reed and Ian Thomas? Ian Thomas had a breakout season too.
Yeah, but I don't know how much stock they're gonna put in him. I mean, to be honest, I'm definitely wrong, but just what I thought at the top of my head. So
Okay, Ayush, what do you think?
I think he stays with the Titans. I mean, I don't think there's gonna be that big of a market for him.
I agree, but I just see him going to the Cincinnati Bengals because Cincinnati needs a tight end, and John is just like a really good guy that would fit with young Joe Burrow. All right, and then what about my buddy Mr. Corey Linsley? Kyle, where's one of the best centers in the NFL going?
Giants.
Yeah, I can see that working on that new.
Love to overpay for offensive linemen, and they also
That is for sure. That is for sure. Ayush, what do you think?
I think he goes to the Jets.
Jets or Giants? You think he's going to New York?
They need help with O-line. They have money. Linsley's a good center. They might as well get him.
I think he might go to the Dolphins because they're a very similar situation as the Jets, but they don't have as much money, but still. All right, I'm going to skip through a couple people to get the bigger names. How about Bud Dupree?
Stays in Pittsburgh.
I agree.
Okay.
They're going to let Juju go to keep Dupree.
All right, so what about Juju Smith-Schuster?
Raiders.
I think he goes to the Ravens.
Not the Jets. I'm saying the Jets because, again, he wants that money. He's going to go follow. He's going to be Le'Veon Part 2.
Possibly.
All right, Anthony Harris.
He'll resign with the Vikings.
Resign. Yeah.
Okay. What about Melvin Ingram?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think he goes to Denver.
Oh, rival team, really? You think he hates the Chargers that much?
If Von Miller leaves, I think he already said he was.
Maybe. But he's very underrated.
Seahawks is where Melvin Ingram goes.
They did release Carlos Dunlap, so then he'll be with Bobby Wagner with that the old Legion of Boom that's completely decimated.
Just the death.
How about Trey Hendrickson, who had a breakout season this year?
Trey Hendrickson.
I think I want the Pats to get him. I mean, he had 12.5 sacks last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't forget he was signing up across Cam Jordan, so it's kind of hard to have no line that block both of them.
I'll go Titans. Where he's going, Titans.
Okay. I see him going to Detroit to be with his old tight ends. The old coach of the Saints. He might want to reunite with that.
That guy's crazy.
Yeah, that guy's really crazy. All right, how about Corey Davis?
Ravens.
Okay.
I think he'll go to the Raiders.
All right, what about Mr. Rob Gronkowski?
Stays in Tampa, no question.
Oh yeah, no way.
Stays in Tampa, not even close.
that's the only one that you're positive about.
Oh yeah, I'll put $10K on it right now if he stays in Tampa.
Well, there goes. So if I make that bet, that's my college tuition. Okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna lose it, you're not going to college.
Well, yeah, that's also true. All right, how about Mr. Patrick Peterson?
Packers.
I think he'll resign. I mean, they got JJ. Might as well give it one more run with Darius.
Maybe. What about speaking of good defensive players? How about Yannick Ngakoue?
That guy what did nothing last year, right? I mean,
Nah,
Packers.
he didn't. Why would he go to the Packers, Kyle? They have Kenny Clark, they have Rashawn Gary, Zadarius Smith. They don't need any
Still
D-line help.
complained about the run defense all last year, right?
That's linebackers. We need linebackers. We don't need edge rushers.
All right. Well, still.
No, well, that was your pick. Are you any ideas?
I think he goes to Philly.
I
Wait,
got a couple.
actually, you know what? No. I take that pick back. The Texans.
Okay, not bad. Yeah. All right, I got a couple more. Speaking of Texans, Will Fuller. Kyle.
Ravens.
Ravens. I don't know if they would.
I
That's like a number.
I
Yeah,
think
you-
he'll resign. I feel like Texas might overpay him. He's too injury prone to get too much money.
Maybe I'm hoping he goes to the Packers for a low price. All right, Jadeveon Clowney.
My God, I feel like he'd go anywhere.
Really good. He's a buy low type of guy because he was really picked up really late last year in free agency. He went over to the Titans, and he's a buy low type of guy.
I'm going Vikings.
I'm gonna go
Vikings.
Hot take Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, that'd be good for him. What about Xavier Rhodes? Or burnt toast, as I like to call him as a Packers fan.
He's gonna get up in Dallas because Jerry Jones will look how Jerry Jones will look at how he was once good in his career, but then ignore the last year and overpay him, and he gets AKA burnt toast. He's so bad.
That can happen. Yeah. Ayush, what do you think?
I totally see it happening.
I think he'll go to Seattle. They need secondary help.
True. Well, speaking of burnt toast, you think I'm going to go on this list without mentioning Kevin King? Nah.
He's
Where's
gonna
Kevin King
retire
going?
with Green Bay.
If Green Bay resigns him, I'm taking a little field trip to the Green Bay front office.
All right, Kevin Dallas.
I am losing him and Xavier Rhodes paired up with
Him and both to Cowboys.
That would be perfect. All right, a couple more before we end the show. Jared Cook.
I think he's gonna retire.
I say resigns with the Saints.
Resigns. Richard Sherman.
Retires.
Okay, but he's coming off last year. He was an All-Pro.
True.
Ayush, what do you think?
I feel like the Patriots should make a bid for him.
With J.C. Jackson and Stephon Gilmore.
J.C. Jackson's not that good. Gilmore's getting traded, so why not?
Oh.
You know
Okay,
what?
if they do that,
Richard
maybe.
Sherman, I'm gonna go Cardinals for Richard Sherman.
Ooh, he goes Seahawks, then he goes to the Niners and then the
I
Cardinals.
think he wants to stay in the division.
Oh my God, I can't imagine what Seahawks fans would do if that happens. How about T.Y. Hilton?
San Francisco, their biggest rival. Maybe he
Well,
goes
yeah.
over.
Yeah, he may as well go to Cardinals. Cardinals versus Seattle was a great game last year. I can't wait to see that happen
Hey,
again.
if they lose Patrick Peterson, they may want to go for Sherman. So
That's true. But they're very similar type of guys. All right, T.Y. Hilton.
Titans.
Washington football team.
Washington. Okay. All right. The last guys that we're doing are all quarterbacks. Start with Mr. Andy Dalton.
Resign.
Okay. Kyle?
Stein is what, the backup?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know about that. Andy Dalton, yeah, resigns. I agree. I'm with.
All right. How about Alex Smith?
I don't even know. I was gonna say the Pats, but
Maybe Detroit? No. Well,
they have Goff.
Chicago?
Yeah,
I think
Chicago. I'll
they
go
go to Miami.
Chicago. Yeah.
Miami.
Because if Fitzpatrick leaves, they're going to need a backup quarterback once Tua gets benched because he sucks.
All right. Speaking of Fitzpatrick, where's Ryan Fitzpatrick going?
I think he would have been resigned by now. He's better than Tua. They should have signed him. I
My
don't know.
God. I usually die hard Tua Tagovailoa
He
fan.
really
right
doesn't
here.
like. He really doesn't like Tua.
Tua's trash.
All right. Well, so where's Ryan Fitzpatrick going, Kyle?
Chargers.
Chargers. Okay.
Go in New England.
All right. Hey, maybe. All right. So there's one last quarterback on
I
this
really
list.
wanted Fitzpatrick. I wanted show me your Fitz. I really wanted.
He would be pretty good in the Patriots. I mean, he went to Harvard,
he
so
wouldn't.
maybe a reunion back in
I
Massachusetts.
really wanted Fitzpatrick.
Hey,
I
if
want
he went to Harvard, he might want to play in Boston with the Patriots.
Fitzpatrick is a gunslinger. He's a bad gunslinger.
He's better than Cam Newton.
Hey,
He's
you
better
know
than
what? Cam Newton's not a short slinger, a long slinger. Gunslinger sucks.
He's a no-go. He's a no-slinger.
He's just a nothing. He can't run. He can't do anything.
He's a passive defender. He likes the defenders. So
Just as me and Ayush are saying, it's very unrelated. But if Newton steps into his throws, just maybe 50% of them will reach the target. Just maybe 50%. And those are also going to defender.
All right. So there's one more player that we're going to talk about before the segment wraps up. So this player on the list is number 101, the last player on the list. He is very, very famous. He's had a wonderful career, and he's won a very famous award that nobody else has ever won in the history of the NFL. The award I'm talking about, of course, is the Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player, because I am talking about Money Mitch Trubisky. Where is Mitchell, my man, my favorite defensive player for the Packers? Where is he going?
I like Mitch Trubisky. I feel like if he gets in the right system, he's going to be a good quarterback.
You think he can win 2 MVPs? You think he's going for a back-to-back? He doesn't want anybody else to take the crown. He wants to get that second one?
I'd rather have Mitch than Cam Newton right now.
You'd rather have Mitch Trubisky than Cam Newton?
Yeah, I think.
I would. Definitely. I would.
Have you guys seen the way that
he won 12-4 was a pretty
Have you
good
seen
quarterback.
Cam Newton throw a football? It's going to take years off your life.
I don't think it's too far from what Mitch Trubisky does in the football.
Dude, Cam Newton is on a planet of his own. Don't even get me started.
I kind of want to see a Cam Newton versus Mitch Trubisky, just like overall, like accuracy, strength, and everything.
Yeah, that game would be a 0-0 tie.
It really would. You really want it.
Or 7-0 defensive touchdown wins.
Yeah, I know. They just have like wide open receivers and either overshoot them by 30 yards or just not even get the ball near their feet.
All right. I think Mitch Trubisky goes to Washington football team.
Maybe. Who is the Washington football starting quarterback? Who's going to be this Washington football team starting
We don't
quarterback?
know.
Maybe Heineke, maybe Kyle Allen.
They got to get someone.
Well, who do you think? Do you think it's going to be either Heineke or Kyle Allen?
I think they trade up in the draft.
You think it's somebody in the draft?
I think they're going to trade up for Mac Jones.
And he's going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ayush, where do you think Money Mitch is going?
I think he resigns because he's better than Nick Foles. I mean, Nick Foles.
I was going to say he's going to the Packers because they just need him. They really do. They're kind of having a quarterback controversy.
I kind of felt like saying Packers for spite, but
yeah. Hey, I kind of need him. We're losing Kevin King. We need some more defensive help. Mitch Trubisky's probably one of the best defensive players the Packers
you
have.
signed Mitch Trubisky to play defense for the opposing team, so I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like Jay Cutler. It's a Chicago Bears tradition of having quarterbacks playing defense for the Packers. It's a great tradition. And I cannot wait to see Nick Foles do the same thing. It's going to be a great tradition.
Yes, sir. Actually,
All
no,
right.
Russell Wilson goes there and you are screwed.
Then maybe the Packers won't win by 3 touchdowns. Maybe it'll be a 1 touchdown run. We'll see.
Shut up.
It's not as fun watching the Packers blow out the Bears every year. I want to.
Yeah, no. You know what was funny when the Bears swept the Packers a couple years ago, and then they went 12-4,
and they lost in the first round of the playoffs and got. They lost in the first.
It was better than 6-9. At least the Bears
swept by the Lions that year too.
Wait, the Bears
because Rodgers was injured.
Who won 14
Cardinals 6-9 in one season with Rodgers.
Oh, that Brett Hundley played the Lions, so no, there's no way that was.
It was 2 years ago. I'm very sure of that.
Well, I don't think that was I think the Vikings didn't win the division that year. Then maybe it was the Bears.
Well, at least they lose to the 2-14 Cardinals at home.
Oh wait,
that was the Packers.
Yes,
that was the Packers. Yes, very good call. I'm very happy that they did that. At least, I'm excited because the Aaron Jones re-signed with the Packers, so we got a nice running game going for the future. And the Patriots don't have a quarterback that can throw more than 5 yards.
We don't have a quarterback who can throw more than 5 yards. I can't deny that one.
So let's be honest. I'd rather have Aaron Jones as my quarterback than Cam Newton.
So Ayush, I am still offering my VIP spot to you in the Tom Brady and Kyle Pucci driven pirate ship.
No, I think we're making the playoffs this year.
Okay.
Well, Kyle, I also think that I'm going to the moon this year, but you know what? I don't think that's going to happen very often. Nope. All right. Well, that does it for episode.
Bill can figure this out.
I'm trying to wrap up the episode.
Bill's going to put this together. We're going to the playoffs.
Oh my God. All right. You know what? Next episode, we're going to obviously start recapping the NFL free agency because it kicks off in a couple days on Wednesday. So you guys stay tuned at home, and it's going to be a huge rambunctious NFL news cycle. And maybe if either Kyle, Yush, and I got any of these picks right, we'll be the first ones to get the credit. That's for sure.
Yeah,
All right, well,
it's one game.
What?
We're up 23 in the third, so hopefully we
Oh, the Celtics game? That's great. We can go watch the Celtics game now. All right. Well, don't forget to email info. Don't forget to email info@dsctv.com for any topics, any celebrities, or any jerseys you want us to have on the show, because hopefully we'll get back to in-person shows somewhat soon, hopefully. Otherwise, thank you guys for tuning into episode 18. Thank you to Mr. Pucci, Mr. Yushman for coming on the show, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode of Unpopular Opinion. Thank you, everybody.